Got it.
And welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meeting Rich on the Train. This is our episode one, and this is kind of our beta. Our first guest is to my right, and that's Robert Newman, Bob Newman to me. Say hi, Bob.
Well, good evening, everybody, and hello to all of you in cyberspace. It's a pleasure to be here. Greetings from Los Angeles, and a lot of great things going on in LA, and something not so great, but we'll touch on it all.
All right. Well, excellent. Bob, I met Bob back in 2012 when I moved in to the apartment that I'm in right now. He, at that point, was the manager. You were in charge of this and another building, right? Or all?
Several, but I was a senior property supervisor.
He was a senior property supervisor, and that was with Skid Row Housing Trust, I believe. No longer with Skid Row Housing Trust.
I have departed. It's been a few years now. Time flies.
Okay.
But this particular building, the Star Apartments, is probably my favorite project that I worked on out of the several that I had the opportunity to be a part of.
Well, I really have enjoyed living here generally. Not always, but for the most part. Since you've left, though, staff has gone down quite a bit. What's been going on here at the Star is kind of demonstrates really, I think, the problem with solving the homeless problem in LA.
Well, I think, James, you're touching on something that, this homelessness is probably the biggest, the most defining issue of our time right now. I mean, we can talk a lot about, there's many things going on, but I think that it's a big deal, and it always has been a big deal in Los Angeles. Partly due to the climate. I mean, unlike other cities, you can be sleep on the streets all year long, really. You don't have to worry about harsh winters or anything of that nature, or really hot, humid summers. But I think the key thing is consistency, and that is a real challenge, and that's going to take a series of these podcasts to address that and many other issues. So.
That's true. Did they get the new numbers for 2018 count? Did they do the homeless count? Did they release the numbers?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. As a matter of fact, it's kind of depressing, so I don't really like to pay much to the numbers.
They've gone up, right? The numbers have gone up.
But the numbers have gone up substantially. I mean, you're talking over a 30% increase in just the last time they did the count, right? So this is an account that's done by LAHS, the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, in January, the first of the year. And so, they just released the numbers, and compared to January 2017, it's a huge jump, And when I was at City Hall today, obviously that was a part of the discussion, when we're talking about budget and talking about many different things, and I think that the big part of that is that there are people going to say the cost of living in California. So therefore the lack of affordable housing, the job market, right? Because the cost of everything has gone up substantially, and yet wages and so forth have not. The aging population, mental health, alcohol and drugs. I mean, I think they're all plays.
I really think that,
but I think that I think the biggest part of it is that. You can't have solutions that one size fits all.
Well, yeah, they have to be tailored to meet each individual's needs.
Correct.
And then if you try to do a cookie cutter approach, then you mess up the ones that don't fit into the cookie cutters, right?
Well, exactly. You can't take here in LA. We've have Skid Row. Skid Row's been like this for decades. In terms of, although it's gotten worse, as we were just referring to, but it's been like this for decades. The key to the thing is it's interesting, is predominantly Skid Row was like a containment zone. That's where most of the population that was homeless was at, right? But now homelessness is all over. I don't think I've hit one part of LA in my travels the last several months that I did not see homeless encampments under freeways, or in industrial areas or on major thoroughfares. I mean, homelessness is now everywhere. Now, we've been dealing with it in downtown for a long time, and now the rest of the city is unfortunately getting a taste of what it's like here, and now obviously they're trying to step up and really address the issue. But yeah, cookie cutter approach is not going to work, and the key to this is you have to address the underlying problem.
Which is?
Well, you're going to have to address the underlying problem with any individual is one, when you're talking about harm reduction and meeting people where they're at, that's a beautiful thing. But as you're meeting them where they're at and you're trying to nurture them along and you're trying to bring them through the system, you're going to obviously have to, like I said, really get to know that person. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Meaning that you got to see them in all the different stages of change. You know what I mean? And then at each moment, if you got to intervene, okay, but you have to, again, with harm reduction approach is not really about beating people up, but it's about just trying to guide them and direct them in a better way, and that is time consuming. And,
very much so. And
it's a beautiful thing. That's the best way to address the underlying problem, but there are not enough social workers or case managers to do that, to spend that kind of quality time with a person, because I have confidence in the people out there, whether they're working for the government or whether they're working in
do you really
nonprofits. I have confidence in their ability if you give them
the means, right?
The means. If you lessen their caseload, if you provide them with the tools, I have confidence most of them can do it. Sure, you got rotten apples in any trade in any setting, but I have the confidence. But right now, everybody's just too overwhelmed. I mean, the client's too overwhelmed with their shtick and whatever they're going through. The system is overwhelmed. The individual case managers are overwhelmed, and which leads to burnout. And you have to have the infrastructure to adequately support. So,
well, see, the thing that I find disheartening is that, to me, the biggest cause of homelessness is the high rent.
mm-hmm.
Is the high rent affecting just about everywhere in the United States, especially on the coasts, where everybody wants to live, and the desire of people that already have large amounts of money to make more money with owning rental properties. Now, I am not in the least bit anti-capitalism. I'm all for capitalism. I'm a big supporter of capitalism. I really don't like the postmodernist take. I'm not a fan of Marx. I like Nietzsche, and I really prefer to think that in many ways the United States has been the forefront of civilization for the last 200 years. But with that said, it just seems that maybe because of our decline in values associated with Christianity or Judaism or just religion in general, and the more agnostic, atheistic take of people, mm-hmm. of the population, mm-hmm. that they just seem to play a game. They don't really realize that, this money grabbing scenario is not necessarily good for the benefit of everyone. I believe that if the market is allowed to actually, it's like we have a great idea and we take away from it a little bit. Like we don't really have a fully capitalist society right now. It's not really the market driven. There's a lot of things in the way. I don't know if they the rule of the law of unintended consequences. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things are put into effect, and we don't really know what's going to happen. And then they do it, and then what happens? It makes things worse. Like currently, every single group, if you group people by race, is increasing the amount of out-of-wedlock babies that they have. I mean, right now, the African-American segment of society in the United States is at like 73% single-parent household. But that's just the top one because like Caucasians, Hispanics, all of them have dramatically increased. And I really don't know what is going to be done because all these children need fathers around, in my opinion. Because did you know that? Do you know where empathy comes from? Did you know how a child learns empathy?
Hmm.
The two most important things for a child to learn empathy is a paternal figure, right, and free play in nature. Those are the two things that
Makes
are
sense.
key to develop empathy. So there's a lot of things that I see on Skid Row that just is a microcosm of the rest of society, but the rest of the city, the rest of the county, the state, and then the rest of the country as well. And I find that, like, I really don't want to have our country go the way of just falling and becoming another Islamic state.
Well, I think, first of all, you touched on something very important. The breakdown of the family unit has been, in my opinion, to the detriment of society. I mean, it's not the only variable, but it has been. You touched on something very, very important. You touched on something about the closeness and the common denominator that people have. You know what I mean? And we're not just talking about breathing air and sleeping and eating. I'm talking about a bond with their family, with their community, with their peers, and there's a breakdown. And I think now we have been for quite a while, and I think we are seeing the symptoms of that. And the other thing you point out is that we have been in denial for a very, very long time now about some of our ills in society, about some of the challenges.
I agree.
We've buried our head. Said if you look at how prevalent mental illness is throughout society, in many
and only increasing.
And only increasing. Alcohol and drugs. We had a war on drugs.
Bad idea.
Yeah, didn't pan out.
That's a war on your own population.
Right, and we still have that didn't work out as with all the money that was spent, and of course we have a huge drug problem. We have the most gun violence. We can go on, and I think
long list of problems.
And I think these things, not to be pessimistic, because there are a lot of great things, but these are things that are contributing to, like I said, that breakdown, and then some of the ills. So when you look at Skid Row, yes, Skid Row is a microcosm of a lot of the symptoms and problems, complications in society. So there's a lot of good things going on in Skid Row, and there are success stories. But we love to increase that percentage of the success stories and look at and take a really good view of what we're doing, how can we do things better, what works, what doesn't work. And again, that's going to be determined by the success of that particular individual.
Fair enough.
And, one of the things LA is trying to do with Triple H and H, well-intended. Yes, we need more housing. Yes, we need more affordable housing throughout the whole state.
There's no doubt of that.
But we need, like I said, services, and we definitely, like I said, going to take a really good, important approach to addressing the needs of the individual, because you can't just build your way out of this housing problem.
You can't just throw money at a problem and solve it.
Exactly correct, because you're talking about human lives. You're talking about individuals. You're talking about people's different modus operandi, and you're talking about some people, unfortunately, that are beautiful people and have a lot to offer, and but they're in a difficult space. They're in a challenging space. They may have a physical disability, mental disability. It's very difficult. So they need, a lot more TLC. And we have
definitely.
We have to develop a system, not just to build housing, but also to truly give the support that people really need.
And that's what we're here to talk about today, isn't it? We're here to talk about your new plan, your new project, your new nonprofit, not-for-profit. And what is the name of that?
Well, Key to the City.
Key to the City is the name of it. Excellent. I love the name.
And we've talked about, in general, some of these things that are going on in society. But what Key to the City is based on looking at all those things and we can't rely totally on the government. This is such a big issue, and there's so many things going on that we really need the whole community to come together. You know,
to come together and do what exactly?
Well, like I said, to realize that first of all, we have people in our society that are on the streets, that are homeless, that have particular needs that we have to address. So they're humans, so we have to do everything. As I said, we got to humanize. We have to connect these people and integrate them into the community, even if they're sleeping out of a tent or a box. Okay, and we have to connect all the community together, even those that have businesses or homes within the very area that homeless encampment or that individual is shelterless at. So we got to connect them, and then we got to mobilize. We got to within the community, people of all aspects of the community need to come together and mobilize to try to assist those members of the community that need the most attention and need the help.
Excellent, excellent. Now tomorrow you're having the Key to the City is having its inaugural event. I would like for you to go ahead and describe to the people out there what is going to go on tomorrow. Mm-hmm. As I check that message, just in case the building's falling down or something. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead and tell us about the Key to the City inaugural event occurring tomorrow, Saturday, March 10th, from 10 till 3 p.m. at 18th and Paloma.
That's correct. Well, we call this Key to the City. This is Volume 1, okay? And this is sort of like our beta test. Although myself, I've been doing the Homeless Outreach Project for several years now. Pastor Timothy Park has been doing a homeless ministry. He's part of the Key to the City program. And Reverend John Apollo Payne, and Steve DeBro, who are also part of the team. They've been doing some wonderful work in the community. But tomorrow, we call this Second Saturdays. And this is something that we would like to do once a month on the second Saturday of the month. And basically, what we're doing is we're going into the communities. We're all, part of the family, part of the community. We're all God's children. We're going to get in there, and we're going to mobilize and connect and work together. And so tomorrow, Key to the City event, which starts at 10 a.m. To 3 p.m., and it'll be on East 18th Street between Paloma and Essex Streets. So that's one block east of San Pedro Avenue. It is one block west of Central Avenue. And basically there we're just going to close off a street. We're going to have an opportunity to, offer some services. We're going to have some entertainment and some food and some beverages. And just get a chance, like I said, to integrate the business community, because that's primarily an industrial area, but the residents are welcome, and along with the homeless people who are sleeping in the encampments. And we're going to do a cleanup of the area, and like I said, we're just going to have a lot of fun and just get to know each other. And it's a step-by-step process. This is something that is not going to happen overnight, because it is a huge problem. So Key to the City is really built on, number one, is and really doing outreach, okay? We're really into a coalition building. We're into, media and bringing attention to what's really the plight there, and then mobilizing, and then opportunity. Is creating opportunity for individuals to go from point A to point B, in a meaningful way. And again, not in this cookie cutter approach, as you were saying, James, in a way that that individual is going to do something, express themselves, their creativity, their talents, in such a way, that's copacetic for that individual.
Well, that's a great way to think about it, because what I'm trying to do, you've actually inspired me to try and use my talents to try to improve the lives of, first, myself. And the reason that that's important is that I realize that unless an individual has a solid base for themselves, the ability to help others is negligible at best. So I have attempted to improve myself, and I've been. Have you watched any Jordan Peterson videos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, or I've been following Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro, both conservative but not really right wing. And actually, I guess Jordan B. Peterson, he thought he was more of a liberal before all this started. But I believe that the most important thing that a human being needs is purpose, is a reason to get up every day in the knowledge that that purpose is contributing to society as a whole, whether it be a police officer, whether it be someone in the army, someone that's a medic, someone that's a doctor, someone that's a teacher, someone that's a social worker, someone that is cleaning up the streets, someone that is taking care. I mean, just anything beneficial to society is a good thing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, there's a lot of focus now on fame and really useless bits of, flashing dots. I mean, I see a lot of because I think that the increase in mental illness, a lot of it has to do with the smartphone and the amount of connection that social media provides people. And it's just not what your brain is designed for. I mean,
Well,
built for.
Yeah, I think mental illness comes from there's drug-induced psychosis, but I would so the drug problem has played a hand in that to a certain degree. But there's many variables. But I think one of the things about mental illness too. I think we and our physical problems period for a lot of human beings. Is obviously our diet, is our food.
I agree.
Food supply. I also think that we overprescribe prescription medication. I think that, sure, I mean, we've come along.
Again, because of money, because of wanting to make money. I mean, look what happened with Oxycontin.
Right.
I mean, really, if you think about it, in many ways, Oxycontin was really a good drug for people that were in a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they pushed it on people that didn't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned, well, especially the Appalachians, into just, it was, they called it hillbilly heroin, the pillbillies, right? That's what they called them, pillbillies. And hold on, I'll show you. You know what that is, Bob?
What is that?
That is called a pillbilly mating call. I am not kidding when I tell you that the 80-year-old men in West Virginia are the ones that have all the women right now.
No kidding. Wow.
Because of the fact that they have the pills. I'm online. A broadcast. Oh, come on in, Bill. You can come in. Come on in, Bill.
Hey,
Yo,
Bill,
Bob.
how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
Bill, here, have a seat. In fact, have a seat.
Have a seat, Bill.
No. You're on. The camera's that way. Have a seat right here. Have a seat right there, buddy.
Good to see you. Long time to see you. The master gardener, landscaper of the Star Apartments. Good to see you.
Tell them what we were talking about, Bob.
Well, yeah, we're having fun. We're talking, obviously we're talking about this Key to the City event that we're doing tomorrow. One of my new projects here, I have some wonderful associates I'm working with, is called the Second Saturday of the Month. And we're going to be right down here on East 18th Street. And so we're doing that. And the concept of the Key to the City program is a lot different than most, is because that what we're really trying to do is realize that this homeless problem is, we just can't rely on the government. I mean, okay, we got to work together here. We got to get the whole community involved. So what we're doing is harnessing, the time, creativity, expertise of all Angelinos to come together, and realizing that shelterless people are part of the community as those that have their own homes and are working in the community, and bring everybody together and let's come up with some meaningful solutions, one individual at a time. It works for that individual.
I like the idea of neighborhood cleanup. I met a woman at Occupy when we were down at City Hall a few years ago.
Right.
I can't remember her name, but she's very political. She was actually trying to run for senator or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one of her things was she would come down here with a crew with trash cans
Mm-hmm.
and help people out. Instead of just handing them sandwiches, hand them a broom.
Yep.
And say, because there are a lot of people out here. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. That live here in a tent, and you'll see them out there cleaning up around their tents, sweeping the streets every day, around their area, which is a good thing, because it's.
And we've been doing this. That's actually what's going to happen. We're actually part of the thing that we're going to do besides have some music and eat together and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy, and it's important, right? Because we, like I said, it's about the community. But what we're going to be doing tomorrow is actually cleaning up with the encampments in the street, and because the people, like I said, they have the businesses around there and the residents, they have to treat the homeless people with respect because they're still part of the community.
Right.
On the other hand, the homeless people have to be good neighbors, and that's an important aspect. And you're right. I think that a lot of people come down here to Skid Row, and we see them all the time, and they're well-meaning, the church groups and stuff coming down and giving away the sandwiches. I know when I was homeless, I loved to go over on Crocker Street, and there was a church that used to give this soup and bread. It was phenomenal and really appreciated. But the key is, though, is that, a handout is nice, but a hand up is even better.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all about. But you have to do that by, meeting the person where they're at, finding out what they're really all about, and help addressing the underlying problem, and help bringing them forward in a meaningful way that's inspirational to them. Not just because society says, okay, let's line up, let's all march that way, and
Right.
stand in line. That's it. That's not going to work.
No, and it's, unfortunately, I get mad at them sometimes, especially after living here for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I call them enablers. I mean, they walk right up to people who are laying on the ground. Well, you know what? These people get handed 20 sandwiches a week. And it's just, the same people out there in the same spots since I've been down here. And I've met people down here who've been here 15, 18 years, and they're proud of it, At some time in your life, don't you finally say, gee, it'd be nice to have a bathroom and a kitchen of my own, at least a place where I can hang my hat inside where it's dry and warm, and there aren't rats running through my belongings, and
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, because look, as we humans are supposed to be the highest living species on Earth and blah blah blah, but we are not designed to live on the streets. Okay, animals, some of them, they do well. Look, even going back in the early days, to the early Homo sapiens. They lived in caves. We're not meant. And there's studies that show that actually your brain shrinks with too much overexposure with actually being out on the street. There's many, and besides
with
many
all
other
the
elements.
psychological stuff that hits you.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you're not on psych meds when you get here, if you're here for a year on the street, you'll be on psych meds.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just, it's like par for the course, it seems, and I don't get.
Ask Bill how his hands are feeling.
Bill, how are your hands feeling?
Like someone's dragging rusty barbed wire through my joints.
So it's an improvement.
Yeah, this afternoon it was railroad spikes.
Oh my God!
The reason I ask is because we wanted Bill to play tomorrow.
You know what? I'm not sure what I'm going to be up to. It's just
okay, Bill. We're going to do this every second Saturday.
Yeah,
so you're welcome.
Which is
you're
great.
welcome
That's
anytime.
easy for me to remember. Let's see, because second Saturdays of the month is also the estate sale over there, and the second Thursday is art walk. Stuff like this is great, but right here is the perfect example. The garden. How do we get people involved? How do you get people to stay involved? Mm-hmm. People love to show up and something starts out and say, well, look at what we did. We put plants in, but where are they 3 months later pulling weeds and spraying for bugs? And, it's just not there. And unfortunately, on the street, people will show up, because they asked me several times here, well, how do we get more people to come to the garden group? I said, pizza. Give them food but bring food that will show up, they plant a seed and they're looking for a tomato.
We did that with the comedy.
Yeah, the Feel Better comedy show. Yeah,
Feel Better Funnies.
Yeah, Feel Better Funnies.
And the food was just depressing.
I came up with an idea a while back, before I had my heart surgery, and up in the Bay Area, Alice Winters, I don't know if she's shade finishes like the godmother of gourmet cooking up there in the Berkeley ghetto. Well, she put together in an old empty lot in the industrial area of Berkeley a city garden in beds and had a couple people who knew gardening growing different types of little lettuces and stuff for the restaurants. And then she got homeless people involved in it.
Nice.
So I started looking into that down here, because there's so many empty lots down here, and there's so much, for a food processing, there's so many little buildings down there already with processing stuff in it because the wholesale fish district is right here. And something like that, I believe, it would definitely work, but you'd have to have it wouldn't take much front money. Well, it would. I think I figured like at least $15,000 just to get it rolling, and that's not counting, we're going to find some kind soul to give us a building and a lot or something. We'll pay for the electricity and the water, but I laid it all out and I did a business plan with it and showed it to a friend. And then I just kind of, I just got fed up with people, and I got with dealing with people here with the damn garden.
Aggravating,
I
right?
mean, it is so aggravating, and I used to be a very patient person. The older I get, the less patience I have, and now all my breaks and my joints and my broken back and my blown out disc that I did when I was 32 years old, all that's come back to haunt me. So I had to slow down considerably.
Sure.
I can't go out there and dig in the garden like I used to. I can't even get up out of this damn chair like I used to, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Right.
And I'm Italian. I'm a hard head. So I got a nose. It takes me a while to get this through my head. I get down there work in the garden, and I couldn't do my artwork. I couldn't play my guitar. Go out and make money. So I got to slow down. It's hard. It's hard for me to do. You know me. I can't sit still.
Yeah.
You can't expect people to sacrifice everything in their lives to help other people. It has to be a balance.
Right. I mean, when I worked in New York, the company I worked for, the president and vice president of the company were in the Dachau death camps when they were kids. And Harry was my boss. They called him Harry the Lion, a little short, Polish Jewish guy, scared the hell out of everybody. And his brother was a rabbi, Rabbi Mo. And Rabbi Mo was like the 11th or 12th in his family of rabbis. And Rabbi Mo would come to the job, and he would have these analogies if something was wrong, and it's just like, I had a friend in New York who was an electrician, and he had a heroin habit. Well, he tested dirty once. Normally, you're gone, your union card's gone, but his dad had juice in the union, so they kept him. He tested dirty again. They said, take a vacation. So I said, come out to the country, right? Let them stay in my house. There's no heroin out there, 68 miles. We're living in the country. So he did, and he came out, they gave him a truck to drive, and you got to do some work, clean out the horse stalls, and blah, blah, blah. Well, 6, 7 weeks, he was doing good. He kicked, and he was happy. And then I come home from work, and I was my sister-in-law with a big sourpuss. I said, she goes, you damn friend stole my money and stole your truck. So I said, well, I go to work Monday, and Rabbi Mo says, what, no jokes today, no smile? And I told him what happened. He said, a man's walking down the street in New York City, pulls out a manhole. You hear that all the time, right? Can't get out. He said, a doctor comes along. He said, doctor, help me get out of these. I don't know what to do. Doctor writes him a script, throws it down. He said, take these. If they don't work, call me in 3 days. Catholic priest comes along. He says, Father, he says, I fell down a manhole. I can't get out. What do I do? He says, say 10 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers. And if God wants you to get out, you get out. The guy does it. The Wild Bill comes walking down the street. The guy said, Wild Bill, I fell down the manhole. I can't get out. What do? I jumped down there. The guy says, what the hell are you doing? I said, I've been here before. I know the way out. The rabbi goes, you've got to stop that. You can't save everybody. I said, son of a bitch. What an analogy.
I like that.
What an analogy. But he
That's
smashed his
good.
fist on my desk, the construction site, which was a piece of plywood on words, to get the point across. And then he turned around, took his jacket off, and went to work. The guy owned the company.
Yeah.
He'd get there and take off his jacket, chuck in his prayer shawl, and pick up a broom or so. The first time I saw that tattoo, the numbers on there, Rabbi Mo's arms, man, I freaked up hair in the back of my neck. So he's the smartest man, the coolest guy I ever met. Invited him out to a pig roast at our house.
Oh, okay.
I said, but he says, hey, he says, come on. I said, yeah, you bring your wife, your daughter, who's going to be another rabbi. And I said, I know how to set up a kosher kitchen. I said, I'll set up a whole kosher. I said, we'll have filet mignon for you guys. He said, you know what? We'll be there. So there was in my yard. A rabbi playing. I got my buddies and I bought some croquet mallets and stuff just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
All my buddies, all my biker friends got. They would have bought like $300 mallets and shit. So there's a rabbi playing croquet with a bunch of bikers, a couple Hells Angels, and they loved them.
See, talk about community. There
Talk
you go.
about
Right?
community. There you go. But
There you go. Exactly.
you know, I wonder what Rabbi Mo, because when I worked for that company in New York, I mean, they treated me like, I treated everybody like gold, you know, and it was, now they lived in Westchester and stuff, that place, and they had lots of money, but they really took care of their employees, and I'm sure through the synagogue and stuff, because you don't meet too many homeless Jewish people out here. It's like Chinese, you don't see too many homeless Chinese people out here either.
It's true.
Because they take care of their own. The Koreans too. There's a few Koreans, but we had the biggest Korean population outside Korea in
Right.
LA. So,
That's true.
but most Koreans, I mean, and the Chinese, especially Koreans, man, those people, they'll work. They love to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
to get people on the street together to get off their asses, I'm perplexed. And I was out there for, 3 years, I guess, 2.5, 3 years, a little longer maybe.
do you know how long I was on the street, Bill?
Uh,
You want to guess?
no.
How about you, Bob? You know?
I like
You know, I don't know, but
I like keep using my
I'll take a
friend.
stab at it. I'll take a stab. 5 years.
8,
9 days.
9 days.
9 days. I was on the street 9 days.
Wow.
It's a lot of couch surfing.
And then I was on the street 9 days, and I then had to have an emergency hernia repair, umbilical hernia repair. And when I went into the hospital, they gave me a drug called Reglan in the post-op, and I had this horrible reaction to it. I wound up staying for a whole, I had to, almost died. I had to stay for a week in the hospital, which is a long time, considering our healthcare, to stay in the hospital for a week. And then I had nowhere to go, and I was sick enough that they couldn't just release me into the wild, I guess. And they set me up with a program that it got me into the STAR.
That's cool.
That's great.
Yeah, my heart surgery basically got me here. Yeah. I mean, I came here, applied for a job the third day they were here they were still putting a fence around this building. And I went downstairs and talked to the superintendent, and he says, you do poured in place? I said, I'm an iron worker. He says, do poured in place concrete too, because they're going to change it. I said, yeah. He goes, how about prefabs? I said, man, I did prefabs in the late 70s. So they rolled out the blueprints. He said, here, take a look at them. I'm not going to ask a couple questions about how to read prints and little logos and stuff, or little different types of welds, which is tricky little shit. And I saw the building. What the inside of these units would look like and everything. And that's when they were jackhammering concrete downstairs to dig the holes. And he told me, he said, man, he said, where are you at? I said, I'm in Weingarten. I just had heart surgery a while ago. They're taking good care of me. He said, no, this is before I had surgery, come to think of it. It was before I had surgery. But anyway, he said, well, stay in touch. He goes, the economy had tanked, and we got about 30 guys out that we're trying to bring back. And I says, you still got a union card? I said, man, I got 2 union cards, actually 3, but carpenters and iron workers. But he said, are they current? I said, the iron workers, it's carpenters I can bring up, no problem. But I stayed in touch with him, and he said, well, you know how it is. We got to bring our guys back first. Hey, blah, blah, blah. And then I wound up living here.
There you go.
That's a good story. I like to hear that.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible.
Bill, I really appreciate both of you being here. I know Bob has to get home, and Bill, I'm sure you have to, it's Friday night, I'm sure you have to go play some music. And I have to get this down where I can get this podcast up and running tomorrow morning, lickety-split. So I got to work on that right now. Bob, I would like for me and you, what happened with, did they like the idea over there about the studio, doing the studio over there?
Well, we'll find out.
Oh,
We'll find out. Yeah. Actually, that meeting won't take place till next Wednesday.
Okay.
But I think it's it's a good idea. At least it's going to be a good interim place till we
At a
find
minimum,
a
Bob,
place.
Could you commit to speaking with me on a podcast at least once a month about the progression of
For
the
sure.
city as
For
a
sure.
minimum?
For sure. That'll be a minimum.
At a
But,
minimum. Awesome.
we hope to do more.
All right, and thank you guys very much. Meeting Rich on the train, and I hope that you all have a great and wonderful evening, and in general a wonderful life. Thank you guys very much, and we hope that you see improvement.